Hello and welcome to the show. It's Thursday night. You know what that means. The Comics Pals are live. There are only three of us right now here for Pals Pools. Marco's running home late from school, but he'll be
toast in his mouth.
yeah.
I'm coming, senpai.
Whoa, it's
That's
a
what
lot.
they say, right?
That's what Marco says. Yeah.
I thought that was what Trump says.
Hold on. Shit.
I'm gonna come.
There you
There it
go.
is.
There you
Are
go.
you just testing to make sure I got all my shit plugged in? You don't even know if I had that plugged in.
I swung and thankfully we hit a home run with that. What's
There
up,
you go.
Trap Sword? Thank you for joining. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. And everyone who's here live, thank you guys for joining. Say hello if you're in the chat and hanging out.
Hello.
Tyler, you're not in the chat.
I'm always in the chat.
Technically, you are, I guess. Yeah, you are in the chat, but you don't count. We've got 5 books.
Count 'em?
5 books to talk about today. Justice League Road to Dark Crisis #1.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Gordon, hello. C.W. Gordon, welcome.
Hey, what's up? Nice House on the Lake. What's this, #9?
Oh, I don't like that cover. Ugh.
This was the only one they had.
Huh.
Yeah.
Have you
I
been
don't know.
typically getting the A covers and then like you're forced to get a B cover at one point? That's the worst, isn't it?
That is one of my least favorite things that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like genocide and then like forcing to get the wrong cover, like right below it.
You know what? Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
and
cool.
then that's tied with butter that doesn't spread.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's not good. Yeah.
And Monsters in Your Closet. We're going to be talking about The Closet, #1. James Tinian. Double dose of James Tinian this week
It's
on
a
the show.
Opinion Tuesday.
It's a
Thursday.
double
Wow.
Jimmy Thursday.
Double Jimmy. Oh my God. I don't know what to make of that. A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, #8. Whoa.
I know.
I have
I
a
know.
lot to say. I have a
know.
lot to say about
I won't
this.
say anything just yet, but when I saw you put it on there, I was like, "Oh, you cheeky bastard! You read that YouTube comment, didn't you?"
Yeah, that's exactly why it's on there. Yep. And then Patreon pal pick this week, Super Freaks. So Matt Murphy, most of you will know him, asked us to read this week. So he's a member of our Patreon, so we decided to do it and share our thoughts. So we'll be doing that a little later.
I gotta say something real quick, just
Yeah.
in regards to that. I find it absolutely ironic that Matthew Murphy, the guy when I did a podcast with him, would complain when I put extra books on there, went ahead and fucking gave me an extra book.
That's hilarious.
To be fair, he didn't give us an extra book. He wanted us to switch.
Fair, and I wasn't gonna let him dictate our show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like any other
wasn't-
patron,
yeah.
I'd think about it, but like Matt, I was like, "Fuck no." He doesn't get to tell me what to do.
Yeah. So we've got some pretty good books, some interesting books to talk about here today. Before we get to that, quickly want to remind you guys of how you can support the show. If you want to catch us live at any point, twitch.tv/The Comics Pals. For this very show, we are live at 6 p.m. Eastern. We actually decided Thursdays. We actually decided to come on a little bit later today just because of the Sony State of Play, which we were all watching. I'm assuming we're all watching it. We were watching Kale, right?
I was actually playing Pokemon. So
Oh, all right. Fair
There was
enough.
just a new Pokemon trailer yesterday. You don't think Kale's on a total
Oh,
Pokemon kick whenever there's a new Pokemon
man,
trailer out?
I could start
Oh.
a Pokemon podcast right now.
I didn't see it. I got to see it.
It's
It's
good.
interesting.
Speaking of Kale, Kale put his newsletter up this week over on patreon.com/The Comics Pals. Issue 2, episode 2, installment 2 of that newsletter
It's my second favorite coffee mug.
is
I
the
think
first.
I think that might be my thing. The
Your
first
mugs?
one was my favorite coffee mug. This will be my second. Next time will be my third.
All right.
How many coffee mugs do you have?
Oh, I don't know.
You should probably figure that out before you make that your thing, because then you're making it a finite thing, unless you just circle back around.
I'm gonna make it a finite thing, and then we'll see what happens
You should also include a picture of the coffee mug.
every week. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good way to eat up space.
Retroactive too. If you want to check that out or any of the other host of things we have on our Patreon page, patreon.com/thecomicspals. Thank you so much for supporting us over there. youtube.com/thecomicspals to subscribe to our channel for free, like the video, share it with your friends, leave us comments. All that stuff's free to do. Helps out a lot more than it costs you. Let's get into the reviews. Marco will be here very shortly.
He's cranking up his computer right now.
Sultan of Swing, welcome. Let's start with Justice League Road to Dark Crisis. And now I want to say up front, full spoilers on all this stuff, pretty much. It's our discretion if we decide not to spoil things. This issue is basically DC's offering of, hey, here's what's been happening since the death of the Justice League. So right up front, you need to know that. If you didn't read that issue of Justice League, I think it's 54, something like that.
74? 74?
Yeah,
70, maybe it was in the 70s. Sorry. Either way, whichever the last issue of Justice League was, you need to read that before you read this. Or at least just know they died. Whatever. And so this is a few different stories. We've got 6 or 5 stories from different creative teams that are just kind of showing us what's been going on in the lives of various characters since the death of the League. The first one is Team Up by Joshua Williamson, Dan Jurgens, Norm Rappin on inks, and Hi-Fi did the colors. And this is a story that's basically just about how Jonathan Kent and Dick Grayson are feeling post death of Justice League. As we prepare for a new challenger, Marco is joining us here.
Okay, yeah, let me
All right, let's kick his ass.
Welcome, Marco.
Holy fuck, eh?
Look who shows
Oh, you came
up
all the
to
way from
work.
Canada.
No, that's what took me so long.
Yeah, Marco wasn't delaying this to watch some PlayStation stuff like us fucking nerds. This kid was actually working.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
So we're on our first book, Marco, Justice League Road to Dark Crisis. So basically Dick is just telling John, like, hey, this happens. It's happened before, it's gonna happen again. They come back and it's all okay. And for John, who is an older teenager at this point, he's not seen any of that. He was gone from Earth for 5 years or whatever it was in his time. For everybody else, it was like a couple of months. But he grew a lot and he missed a lot. So he doesn't know that people just die and come back. So it's a shock to him. And Nightwing's cavalierness kind of puts Jonathan off kilter. What'd you guys think about this story?
I love Dan Jurgens' art. It's just a classicness to it. But my dude has not seen a new hairstyle in what, 35 years?
I was gonna say it's a little outdated.
It's
Very
actually
outdated.
it's really cool, honestly, how anachronistic this book is, because it is current day, but these guys look like they were drawn in what, 92? Like, it's so weird. It feels like classic DC. I don't think he draws a little overly complex superhero costumes that current day superhero costumes are. Like John's wearing a belt that looks way too big in this. But it reads classic DC to me. In a way that is like a nice good soup. I already ate, guys. I'm not hungry. I just do food now. Just what I do. Even though they're eating some beef bourguignon with ketchup, that sounds dreadful in this. So I almost didn't want to eat after reading this. But yeah, I don't know. This was like happy DC goodness that I liked. It's nice to see Dick kind of really like solidified as like Nightwing is a leading character. It's not Dick having to become Batman. It's that the pressure of the cowl doesn't really exist anymore for Dick. It's like Nightwing is his own man, and I really enjoy that. And this whole mentorship that Nightwing and John Kent have been having throughout Nightwing, throughout Superman, even in this, is really nice. And it's probably one of my favorite things going on in DC right now. So honestly, out of all the stories in this one, this is probably my favorite one.
this was the first one that introduced that concept of we're hoping they're going to come back, and it happens all the time, and that really rubbed me the wrong way, because this similar to when we read the prelude to this, and I kind of felt like, oh, they're just like the death of the Justice League, it just happened, right? This is continuing that feeling, and it doesn't feel like there's weight to these things, and it doesn't matter, and I like, why care?
It feels like DC asking you to care.
Not even, because they're telling you, like, don't worry about it, it'll like,
No, DC is John.
Oh,
we're Nightwing. Nightwing is absolutely the reader going, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
and that's how I felt. That's how I felt in this issue, into this at least chapter of it, until it continues to get repeated. Where this rubbed me the wrong way to start, and it wasn't until I guess maybe I got brainwashed, or just like they kept saying it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they'll just come back, and maybe I should care. But that didn't entice me to want to read the rest of this, because if that's how they're going to treat it, and they're going to treat that so cavalier, then why am I going to invest?
When you say the rest of this, do you mean the rest of this issue or just the event entirely?
No, the rest of this. Well, the rest of this issue, in terms of they keep mentioning that like they'll come back and whatnot, or like don't worry, but not interest me to continue the rest of this event.
Gotcha. So they're trying to make fetch happen, but it's not.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. I mean, Dark Crisis is starting next week, and I'm not like feeling that hyped. I really was. I mean, you guys remember I was hot for this.
Yeah.
And it's my pals pull this week. So I'm still looking forward to it.
It's
a
tough pull.
Spoiler, Sean. Jeez.
I know. But this issue in general, and this story in particular, didn't do much to get me going for it. Like, I don't get how Nightwing could feel that way. That doesn't connect with me as a human being. You cannot be that jaded to where you're just like, yeah, people just die. I don't buy that. Not when your father, the only like father figure you've had since you were a teenager, is dead, and you don't even know if you can do anything about it. Some of the greatest people to ever walk Earth are dead, and you're cool with that? Like, you're just gonna move on from that? I don't know.
It does make sense to me from Dick, because he's the oldest teenager in DC, right? Like, he saw everyone else around him and his family die well before Bruce ever did. Die and come back.
Yeah, but if they're gonna make I think you're right. If they're gonna make the reader care, though, then try to add some of that emotional weight. Don't just, I don't know, disassociate, because that's what I'm gonna do from this comic, is disassociate.
I don't know, man. They only had 5
I've been doing a lot of that,
like...
Marco.
Oh, that's where you're at?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's hilarious. CW Gordon says throwing Alfred in as someone who won't come back was a real gut punch. Yeah, I think that was definitely done for emotional effect more than anything, because I have no doubt in my mind that Alfred will come back.
They're
It'll be absurd if they didn't. Yeah. But yeah, that definitely hurt to see. Sultan of Swing says he's a man, he's 40. Nightwing is 40. I mean, like, come on.
Yeah.
Is he 40 canonically?
No, just
That's a tight ass for a 40-year-old.
Yeah, I think he's early 30s. He's probably roughly our age.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, I think my feelings about this story, as Marco, eloquently said, are kind of like a microcosm of how I feel about the rest of this issue. I don't want to like go over each individual story, but if there are specific things you want to call out, the Flash one has a pretty cool page where the two Flashes are running around, and like I'll show it.
The numbers.
Yeah, the numbers is really cool. It's very, very good.
Why you like that one, Sean? Could it be that it's Giganta as the villain on that one, huh?
I'm not a fan of Giganta, actually.
Giant redheaded woman? No?
Nah, I mean,
you're
look at
bucking
her
the
big
trend right
steppers. Look at her steppers, bro. Can we do it right now? Can you
Yeah,
look
but
at those?
Those
Flip
I
that
don't have a
page
slide
and
for it.
Look
but
at
yeah.
that fucking cheese grater on her abs.
Um, yeah, that's not. I don't know. That doesn't really do it for me. I'm not.
You sure?
Not
Look at
feeling
that. Look
it.
at that next page. She's all tied up. You're not gonna. Doesn't.
Nah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Hang on, let's go back and talk about her big steppers.
And it was a cute story. I didn't have any issue with it by any means. Nice to get introduced to Jeremy Adams, who I thought did a good job on the script, but you know, typical fare for a story like this.
The art was pretty cool.
I wasn't crazy about the art.
It's all right.
Me neither. Yeah.
What about it?
I was getting webcomic. And I don't mean that
That's
pejorative.
literally what I was about to say. Yeah.
I don't mean it pejoratively either. Just like not what I
Style.
expect a DC event book to be like.
Sure.
That fourth panel where Wally and Wally, I guess, are running away from the tied up Giganta looks
I'll be running
off.
towards it.
It looks silly.
Like he's like with his weird open stance of.
It's weird.
Yeah. I got it.
Out of the stories, I think there's one story that I didn't care much for the story, but the Clayton Henry art in the Nocturna 70 Brown Batgirl one was pretty good.
Oh yes.
It was, and there's one way to sucker me into a book is show me a splash page of supervillains where I have to play Guess Who.
Yeah.
Because I love that shit. Like, this one's got Prometheus Dollmaker. What else? Gentleman Ghost is on here.
Some
Melter,
fucking deep cuts
Flamingo.
in there, man.
Yeah. I love that kind of shit. Is that what's his face? Dr. Destiny as well too from
Yeah.
my favorite Sandman story. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, right below Dollmaker and Prometheus. Like I'm saying that like you can just pick those two guys out.
Me specifically.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
I really like the Pariah, the Philip Kelly Johnson one where he's just like walking around in the snow. The art on that, Layla DeLuca, oof,
She good.
beautiful. She's amazing.
That was nuts. Yeah. I never read Crisis on Infinite Earths. I'm sad to say.
Whoa.
I know. Maybe we should do it.
I'd
Maybe
give
we
you that
should.
as a pals poll, but like that's torture for.
Yeah.
That's
a
homework.
big one.
That's
That's
a
fucking,
textbook.
Might as well read the encyclopedia.
I would consider it like almost required reading though.
Oh yeah, I agree. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how I got to this point without having read it, but it just kind of worked out that way.
Patrons can vote on that one, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Philip Kennedy Johnson, I feel like I have done myself a disservice by not reading Action Comics. And I'm going to be rectifying that really soon. But the Pariah story here, I don't know who he is, but I got the gist, and that was real good.
I felt for him. No idea who he was. I felt for him.
Yep.
Honestly,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say if you read Crisis on Infinite Earths, you don't really know who he is either. So
Yeah. I checked out at this point.
Yeah.
Like, and it's funny because I did actually enjoy the Aquaman and Green Lantern story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was. I just checked out and didn't quite recognize this guy. And then by the time I started to realize what was going on, I was too far off, and it was all just too much, and I wasn't here for it.
This was the only one that felt like it would tie into something later, where the other ones kind of just felt like one-off stories and adventures of. But this one actually felt like, this is gonna play out somewhere.
This is relevant. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That Jordi Belair on the colors there for that one, by the way.
Amazing. Always good.
I gotta say, I do like the strange teaming of Hal Jordan and Jackson Hyde is his name, Aquaman, formerly Aqualad, because it's like I feel like Hal Jordan's like the almost offensively straight dude that would just ask, he would just be like, "Hey, I got a gay question for you," like that one of those kind of straight dudes, you know. And like Aquaman would just be like, "Oh God, this guy again," you know, like
Aquaman's just like, you mean a question?
yeah, exactly. That's how I read Hal Jordan, you know.
That was by Chuck Brown on the script. I gotta tell you, I looked at that really fast. I thought that shit said Chris Brown. I was like, what?
Oh boy.
Hey, career change.
Chris Brown writing a story called Survivors for DC. FICO Alcio on the art. Sebastian Chen on the colors on that one. Yeah, cute story. The Because the Night one that you guys referenced a little earlier was the Stephanie Phillips one with Clayton Henry. Yo, that was Natalia Al Ghul. Am I crazy?
It's Nocturna.
It's not her. Yeah, it's not Talia.
Okay, Natalia.
Right.
Okay.
Who
Yeah,
is-
as in you are crazy.
Right. Yeah, I got it. I got it.
It's Nocturna. She just likes the night. She's like
Well-
she was actually one of the main characters of the last Suicide Squad run. Yeah.
Well, I like her.
Yep, that tracks. Did she have gloves? Did I miss something?
No gloves.
No
just
gloves, okay.
Deep black hair.
Also, a Firefly making an appearance here. They're really seeding that. They're like, oh, we know this guy's going to be this got Brendan
Yeah.
Fraser coming up. Can we put him
Yeah.
in a book, please? This is
Please.
the most I've seen Firefly speak in a comic in my history of reading comic books.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pass.
Ooh, a rare pass from Sean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aligned pass.
I would say pass as well.
I wasn't mad at it. It's fine, but I just don't think there's a reason to spend what is the cost of this?
$6.
I don't think there's a reason to spend $6
Ugh.
on assorted stories that are
Yeah.
loosely gonna give you an idea. They don't even really give you an idea of where these characters are going in the future, and it's not really that interesting. Real quick before we get on to the next book, I did want to show off something. I decided to do a depression buy.
Ooh, love that.
And yeah,
Nice.
and
I've been doing a
so-
lot of that.
Are we gonna print a depression?
We do a comic book podcast, Marco. I thought we were all on the same page here.
I've been hearing a lot about this book, a lot of great stuff. Someone on our YouTube page, I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, said that they thought I would really like it. And so I said, you know what? The new hardcover's out. I'm going to splurge a little and pick it up. I got the Firepower.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hold up. Is that a
Very
hardcover?
nice.
What is that? Oh, that's the deluxe
Wow,
motherfucker.
that's massive.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yo,
That's
Sean.
real nice.
How much?
$15.
That's
That's
Not bad.
Chris
That's-
Somney though.
That's good.
That's
for
Chris
me. For me, a depression buy, if I'm lucky, is a pack of Pokemon cards.
Obviously,
asked my
Sean's just in a deeper depression, I guess.
Well, I asked my wife if I could get like a bigger pack, like a triple pack or whatever, and she went, "How much is it?" I said, "Oh, it's like $10, but you get like the coin and stuff." And she went,
There we go. Yep. You get the pin too.
Can you not?" So
I
I'll
only
just get
have
one
the.
then.
I only have the
booster.
Prelude graphic novel, which was the
Oh,
graphic
Yeah.
novel that leads into the issue 1 of the series.
okay.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if this includes that. I'm not all the way sure, but
Can I
by the
show my
size of it,
dong on
probably
screen?
is.
Can I put my dong on screen?
You cannot
got
put
some
your
Chris-
dong on screen.
Yeah, I
What?
got my Chris Somney art on my arm here. So it says ding, but it looks like dong because my arm's stretched out. So
You have a dick on your arm?
well, no, I do have a hogger on my arm though.
Right.
Got a big old hog on my arm.
Big
as well,
old hog,
so,
Yep. CW Gordon says in reference to Justice League Road to Dark Crisis, should have squeezed some of these into the free comic book day issue. That's
Exactly.
what a free comic book day issue
Yeah.
is for. You shouldn't have to pay $6.99 or $5.99 for those stories. Let's move on to Nice House on the Lake #9. Of course, this is a book we've been following literally since the first issue. This is 9 of 12, so we're almost done. James Tinian, the writer, Alvaro Martinez Bueno on art, Jordi Belair does the colors, and World Design on letters. So this book is coming to an end, and I still don't feel that way. I thought this was the best issue in a couple.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this one. Heavy Lost vibes for me, like just really giving me that feeling of, there's the surface, what's going on, and then there's the underneath stuff that like you're not all the way sure what we're really even looking at, and the characters are going to start to get closer to the truth of things, and it's just that heartbeat moment, where you're like, oh my god, it's the last 10 minutes of the episode, what the hell's going to happen at the end of the season. Kind of feels like that, but without some of the intensity and kind of answers that I feel like we need, considering this is about to be over.
This is millennial Lost. Is
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I actually put it when you put it that way. It's like, yeah, no wonder I fucking like this.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. I feel that exactly, Sean. This I think to me was probably the best issue in a while. This was my pick of the week.
Yeah, me too.
And I think it seeds enough that it got me really excited, especially the last 2 pages for what's coming next, because I think we're right in that sweet spot where we know the next 2 issues are probably going to be like this big reveal, and stuff happens and we really get context, and then a nice conclusion into issue 12. I was sort of comparing this to how I felt about Swamp Thing as it got into the end. Like, these are on 2 totally different wavelengths, where it was Swamp Thing was like the very last issue, or the second to last issue, just felt like where we would be in this place right now, where there's still answers, there's still threads, there's still things that are hanging. But this was like, hey, no, I've paced this out so that we're going to hit a climax right now, and we're leading into it, and we're going to come out smooth. So this was a tight issue for me. I had a lot of fun. I thought the colors were different compared to some of the stuff that I feel like we'd seen. Especially when we first turn into the like after the intro page, where it's all like red usually, but this was the first one where I feel like he hasn't used these overall like washes. I feel like there's usually this orange hue, but this was a bit kind of subdued, and we just saw this really clean green colors, like clean, and had fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had fun. I don't like acupuncture, so that freaked me out. Was not a fan of that. I don't like needles, except on my dong when I got it. But yeah, Marco, I'm in the kind of the same boat here. This feels like it's going where it's supposed to go at the right time. Mm-hmm. Where a lot of the books that, like, oh, this is a season, or oh, this is an ongoing, kind of feel like they're treading water because they don't really know when the end is. This is always going to be 12 issues, except in the winter when it was like, oh, what's going to happen? But now that we're back on track, it's like, okay, this makes sense. Art is stellar, as always. And you say you think we're going to get answers. Like, I would be okay with, like, not getting answers. Like, I think for me, the crux of this book is the friends regaining control, and I think at the end it means that they all die. That's where I feel like this is going. But like, if that's the case and we never found out exactly what happened, like I'd kind of be okay with that, because this has been a very person focused. It's focused on the people, really. Every issue is a new POV, and that's where my investment is. So, yeah, I'm digging it. Yeah, I'm ready for to see where he takes it towards the end.
So my thing is that while you're right, the story is absolutely not about what happened. There's always a risk that you run, and I think it's probably more than a risk. I think it's a certainty, with a story that has some type of unanswered question, where not answering that can, in the minds of audiences, take away from the story. I don't know where I'm at yet with that. Obviously, with Lost, there were a lot of people who were unhappy with the unanswered questions by the end. I don't count myself among them, really. So we'll see. where I end up with this. Right now, the story is so good. I'm not trying to predict where it's going to go, and I'm not trying to have theories, which is abnormal for me. I'm really comfortable month to month just letting James Tinian tell his story and let that be what it is.
Yeah, I think this series too, as opposed to Lost, is, it's so limited that I think even if it leaves us with some questions, it probably won't be that big a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Or it will answer what it's set up really well.
Yeah. There has to be some kind of a resolution,
Yeah.
And so that, whether that's effective or not, is really what I'm interested in more than does it answer all my questions.
Yeah, I have faith in Tinian at this point.
Yeah. Easy pull. If you're here, you kind of know how you feel by now, but yeah, easy pull. Book of the week, I think.
Easy.
Not my book of the week, but I would agree. Pull.
Let's talk about the second of Tinian's offerings, a new number one, The Closet number one by James Tinian, Gavin Fullerton, colors by Chris O'Halloran, letters by Tom Napolitano. I had a pretty decent idea of what to expect from this, considering what Tinian had said about it in the past. And it was what I thought it would be, but it also wasn't what I expected. And I mean that in the best way. I really, really, really enjoyed this. So briskly, The Closet is a very small story right now about a broken marriage that's falling apart and a child who's afraid of what's in the closet. And there's so much more to it than that, and really nothing more to it than that. Tinian's getting so good. I mean, he's already great, but it's just, I don't know. To me, this was masterwork. Getting me to care so easily.
I'll be honest. Before we got to The Closet, this shit was hitting a little close to home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I did not really do any research on what this was. But I was like, oh, this is just gonna be, I don't know, the other end of Monsters Inc. Like that's just the idea that was in my head. Like, oh, this is the horror end. We don't see the fun side. But no, it was a really Buck Tinian again, making it about the people in the story. And we sit down with this guy at a bar talking to a bartender, and within 3 pages, I understand who this guy is.
Yep.
And what he's going through, and his motivations or lack thereof, honestly. Which the way Tinian can do that is just so damn good. He gets people in a way that I don't think most writers do.
He delays them. He writes them as if they're hesitant and they're not ready to do the next thing.
None of his characters are ever really heroes. They're normal. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what he's writing. It's they're all still they're flawed. They're stuck usually in some kind of way, which I think everyone is. So I think that lends to its human nature to it. And then once we get to The Closet in this, it gets fucking creepy.
Yeah.
There's this weird thing in the closet that looks like, I don't know if you guys ever played The Witcher 3. It's a creepy little bog baby.
Oh, I know what that is.
Bog baby.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it, but I liked it, Yeah, no, I had a really good time with this. And the Fullerton was on art, right?
Yeah.
It reminds me of who was the artist on Shanghai Red? If you guys remember that book.
Hickson, Joshua Hickson.
Yeah. It's kind of in that kind of much more flatter vein.
Cartoony.
But cartoony, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It kind of toes the line between cartoony, comic booky, but also realistic. Everyone kind of has their own face too. I really enjoyed this. And it's funny. Up until last week, I had no idea this book was coming out. So it's been a nice surprise to me.
this is a good sweet spot for where I like my art cross sections. I love the art on this, and yeah, agreed. I think the story, as much as it sets up this character, the way that those failings in the marriage show immediately, they also then show how they're neglecting their kid, and that hit hard. That they're like the bartender says, the biggest thing you can do is just treat the fear as if it's real, and they're not even treating the kid as if he's like there, right? There's the moment where they lay him to bed and turn around, and then they're just arguing. The child doesn't exist. That he's put to bed. He's done, right? And that's the fullest extent of their worry at that point.
I think I'm changing my pick of the week.
Oh damn!
Has
Really?
this ever happened mid-show?
My pick
yeah.
of the week is James Tinian. Like
Okay,
whatever.
yep.
All right.
And Gavin Fullerton and all the artists between both of these books. This is damn good. It really is. And it's a horror book, and they're going to get to that. There's basically the horror of this comic book is in the domestic situation that they're in.
Yelled at by your wife, yeah.
Hey, listen.
No.
Let's keep going, guys.
and
Let's
yeah.
keep going. Let's go. Yeah.
If you can relate
bring
to any
attention
of the
don't bring attention to my new background.
Oh man, yeah, Tyler's living a new life.
All right, never mind. Let's keep
Your
going.
closet off camera there, Tyler.
No, it's
Lucked out.
another room. Yeah.
Yeah, pull it. I think if you like horror books, if you like comics that have a, very like personal bent to them, this will absolutely be up your alley. Let's pull for everybody, I assume, right?
Absolutely.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Let's get on
100%, yeah.
to. So let me tell the story real quick of why we're reviewing A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance number.
Please.
All right. So Kale and I reviewed Righteous Thirst for Vengeance issues 1, 2, and 3, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And quickly, sorry. Have you read it since then?
yes, I have.
Oh, you have. Okay.
So that for whatever reason, that the review we did for one of those issues has gotten a lot of comments and views. And one of basically they all said that Kale and I missed the mark. And I think I missed it more in their eyes than Kale did.
Listen, that sounds right.
Fair enough. So one of them asked for us to take another look at the book, to give it another chance. And I said, you know what? Yeah, we should do that. Why not? Why not? So whoever that was, whatever commenter that was, and anyone who disagreed with our thoughts, this review is for you. We're returning to the book to give it, a second chance. And I want to say that I did read 3 through 8. So I read what I missed, the last review we did, everything I missed, and this one to prepare. So I have completely turned the corner on this book.
There we go.
Interesting.
100%.
There we go. All right.
That's-
Chat. Has anybody else been keeping up with this?
That's funny because even after reading this, I was like, I haven't caught up.
Okay.
I'm still a bit like, okay.
Sorry, I read this and I'm like, oh wait, I need to go back.
This was the most brutal comic book I think I've ever read. In a way that somehow doesn't exactly feel torture porny. It doesn't feel like violence for violence' sake.
Not like a Jim Rugg variant cover.
Or an Ed Piskor book.
Right. There's a lot of violence, a lot of blood. I'm not even going to show any amount of this comic on the screen, but it's bad, brutally bad in terms of the violence. And yet, if you've been reading the book, it feels like exactly what is warranted.
Mm-hmm. So context for me, because I was not on those previous Image review shows on Saturdays. I have been reading every issue every week it's come out.
Oh, nice.
I will follow Rick Remender anywhere he writes, and I love Andre Lima Araujo. Great artist. So once I heard these two were on a book, I was in no matter what. And it is a different Rick Remender book, I must say. It is not like when I think of Rick Remender, I think of big sci-fi fantasy epics, like Seven to Eternity, Black Science, even Uncanny Avengers. Low, yeah. Like, that's the shit I do like. This is very slow. This is a book that is almost like a Grindhouse movie. It's very grounded. Barely any dialogue throughout the entirety of the series so far. The dialogue that's been there has been purposeful. And I would say that's what this book is. It's purposeful. Everything it does is for a reason.
Deliberate.
Yeah. And it is violent as shit. Like, where, like, Tarantino can be, like, overly violent to the point where it gets goofy, like I'm thinking like Django Unchained, where there's the blood packets just splattering everywhere for shots that weren't even aimed that direction, where it was like cheesy. This is really graphic. I will say that there is some child violence in this, so proceed with caution if you want to get into that.
If you want to get into that,
well, I mean, like there's shit be going on in the real world, Sean. So, but like just it's not on page, it's off page. But yeah, I like it. I like how our main character. I don't even know his name, to be honest.
Sunny.
Yeah, he's frumpy. He's way in over his head, 100%.
He's
and
Wong.
like. Yeah, I mean, he looks almost like Wong.
He's
Benedict.
He's Benedict Wong.
Benedict
He
Wong,
absolutely
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
He absolutely is.
I think he looks more like the guy who plays shit. Who's the Eternal? He was also in Last Train
I don't remember his name.
to Busan. Whatever.
But Benedict Wong was in the Deadly Class show.
Oh, true. Underrated show, by the way. I really liked that show.
I'm with you. I loved it.
Yeah.
Thought it was great.
I'm loving this series, man, and it is flying under people's radar because it is not a bombastic epic. But I feel like once it's done, like people, this would be like a good thing to like recommend people as like a good, if you want, just like it's not even noir. It's just like violent crime grindhouse book.
The art, I think, for me stood out in this issue. I feel like when I think I was on maybe the first or second review of it, but the moments here, like the background colors, I think Chris O'Halloran is on the colors here. He does great work, and in particular when we see our antagonist here take the glass and start to shove it into Benedict Wong's face, and the background colors go from this pale to yellow to red, and then we turn the page and it's just this combination of this like jigsaw puzzle of reds and oranges and bright yellows and deep browns, and I'm like, oh shit, like that knocked me out. And it was all just done literally through the colors and the art, and that was the moment where I'm like, oh damn, I think I need to catch up on this book. And this was what, maybe 10 pages in. Never got my decision.
There's a moment where the Eminem lookalike stabs Wong in the face with glass. Mm-hmm. And the panel sequencing is, he's stabbed in the face with glass. That sucks. It gets closer on that. Now there's blood. It gets closer on that. Now the background's red as Wong is just dripping blood from his face. And it's brutal. And it's horrific. And then what follows is a sequence of him just getting stabbed with glass. I had, and I think Kale had, the thought that this felt like a movie pitch in comic form. And I don't know that I disagree with that perspective even now, but I will say that this, in my mind, I was wrong about my opinion. I didn't have the right perspective. It's just how I felt at the time. For whatever reason, I can't explain it. My opinion that this wasn't good, I don't stand by it. This is excellent. And I could see this being translated into other media, but it's earned its stripes as a comic in my mind.
Cool. Sean, from issue 3, I think that was where he meets like the girl in the house or something. With this other assassin guy.
Yeah.
How in all that time does that, like, is it taking us to get to this point, like to find out who this guy is? Because I feel like this Eminem dude looks familiar.
Yeah.
First of all, it's Jude Law. This is really Jude Law if we're looking at it correctly, but
yeah. He's in several prior issues. He's hunting the kid, and he's hunting the mom and Benedict Wong for whatever reason. There's a lot that happens, but not that much that happens. Like, I'm not gonna do this, but I could explain it to you in like 2 minutes.
Sure.
But I think people should go read it. I really do. I think you should read it. I think you would like it if you like this. It's good. Yeah.
I love this. It was quick pace too. I felt like I breezed through it, but I got a lot. I think particularly because of just the sequences of violence. But this was good stuff. This would have been my pick of the week.
On a lot of other weeks, last week, this would have been my pick of the week. Absolutely. So
it was mine. This was mine. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. And the Patreon pal pick of the week, Super Freaks #1. This is something that I swear I would never buy if it weren't for one menace, the former Mind Master, the current Mind Master, Mind Melter rather, Matt Murphy. This is a Savage Dragon tribute comic done by the podcasters who do the Savage Fincast, which has been going for 10 years.
Wild.
That's what we all read.
We did.
This is the literal first time that I've ever read a Savage Dragon comic.
Yeah.
And I have regrets in my life now.
Really?
Wait,
fucked
hold
with
on.
this.
What did you get out of it? Because Marco.
Me? I got I don't know, there's like parody here. It's just that's mostly what I got. It was just parody, and I think the art is, I can only assume translations of the actual art, and so
it's a play on
felt very
stuff,
like underground comics with an X kind of style. The from the first story, honestly, the things that stuck out to me were the nipples.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
And I'm assuming that that's like a joke at some point, because other stories here, and then I don't know if the man himself is in the chat, but it feels like
he's gonna have to watch later. It's his mom's birthday, so he's out right now. Yeah,
but they're prevalent, and I wonder if that's like a bit that gets done, and then also the wife here consistently changes, which again feels like a bit. I got mostly comedy from this.
I enjoyed this because, so I'm not a, so Craig and Philly in the chat says it's a hard review for non-fans, lots of in-jokes. Yeah, so I'm not a non-fan. I can count the amount of issues I've read, but I've gotten a lot through osmosis from Matt, who is a fan. He wanted me to say love those Fincast boys, since he couldn't. So Savage Dragon is a book going on since the 90s that has been progressing in time the same way our time goes by. this jumps around throughout the history of Savage Dragon. It has in jokes where it's like, oh, this story happened between issues. You know, that's them doing that. And I actually believe this book was going to be published as just like a fanzine.
Cool.
Before I think Larson got involved and said, all right, why don't we just do it through Image instead? From what I remember, which is fucking awesome. And, you know, grats the Fincast guys. So
That's by far the coolest thing about this.
Yeah.
oh, so the time I've read Savage Dragon has been more of the modern stuff. With Savage Dragon's son. I believe his son is Malcolm. I could be wrong there. And that is where it gets confusing in this, because I think it does jump around to different Savage Dragons. And it's only like if you know sort of thing. But the stuff I've read has been in Eric Larson's very horny phase. We're in COVID phase Eric Larson, or like post-Trump COVID phase Eric Larson Savage Dragon currently. Pre-2016 or I would say maybe 2019 before, it was very horny. Which is why the second story in this, second or third, with Savage Dragon's wife is what really I was like, yeah, this is what I remember reading. This is the kind of energy I remember. Or it's just violent and horny as shit. We get I think this is a Comics Pals first. A pegging scene in a comic, I think.
Oh, no. I've been on this podcast for like 5 years. No.
I said a scene, not somebody who's done it.
Sorry.
Hey, I don't think so. I could be wrong.
Has there been pegging on this podcast before? Sean, can you confirm?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I can't confirm, but
Can you confirm?
Think so. Well,
Can't really peg that hole.
Wow. All right. So Craig and Philly, first time chat. Thank you, by the way. Appreciate you joining. How'd you find us? Says Super Freaks was originally just supposed to be a self-published bootleg franchise, fanzine rather, to celebrate 10 years of Savage Fincast podcast. It was going to be given out as a listener prize for those who wrote in. When it was shown to Larson, he loved it and offered to print it at Image.
That's awesome.
And I think the thing that sticks out to me most about this is fun.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like people making something that really love it. And they love something that most people might have trouble loving. And it is like a love letter to this fucking weird, only comic book thing. And that's why I enjoyed this, you know? Would I have preferred it in color? Probably. I felt some of the art kind of got a little confusing without the color.
I couldn't tell you what was happening in that first story.
That was rough.
I prefer books in color. That's just my thing. I'm not colorblind. I like to imbibe on the color. Shout out to all the colorblind people. But
Yeah, what the hell?
Is it usually in color, Tyler?
I believe so. I remember there being a cum waterfall that was in color. Yeah, that is an issue I read on my previous podcast where there is a sex scene and literally there's cum dripping and pouring. I told you, shit gets horny, which is funny because it's not a horn, it's a fin. But like it's they tackle that phase. They tackle the early what I imagine early Savage Dragon is just crazy batshit superhero stuff, which is fun. Oh, Craig and Philly, I wrote a story and put it together. Heard you were reviewing it. Love the feedback. Good and bad.
Oh my goodness. Well, welcome. That's awesome. Thank you for joining.
I thought it was contagious is how I felt about this. Not like post-COVID Savage Dragon contagious, like just like fun contagious. That's why I liked it.
I don't know literally anything about Savage Dragon. So the context of literally every single thing that you said is lost on me. I did get a kick. I got a kick out of the panel of the one superhero like webbing people up. I'm sure
I knew you would like that. The more anatomically accurate spider power. That
was remarkable. Yeah, I mean, like, when has this ever When has
And
this
it's
ever
funny
happened before?
that I believe, and I've not read Savage Dragon, but I think I might have gotten an in joke. Was a direct panel by panel recreation of, I think it's Aunt Flo, which is a character who shoots period blood, from what I remember.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. I could be misremembering that, but that's how I was reading it. Does this, I got a question, because obviously this is not something you have familiarity with. Heavy flow, yes, Craig, heavy flow, yeah. Would this, if I can get somebody out of retirement to talk about a volume of this, would you be interested?
A volume of Savage Dragon or a volume of Super Freaks?
No, Savage Dragon specifically.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
why
would do
not?
I would do that for something. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I'd be interested. Yeah.
I would. Do
I live
this
near
for-
him now, so I can maybe force him.
Congratulations, Craig, on getting a book published through Image. I don't know the rest of your comics career, but that's amazing.
It's rad, dude.
Hopefully, it's a start.
Yeah,
Craig,
absolutely.
Craig, I read this last out of my stack so far, and I was like, yeah, that was a fun way to end it.
and that was a part of it for me too, because we read the Justice League book today.
Yeah.
And so I read two books that were like kind of lengthy and both had multiple stories. So by the time I got to this, I was kind of exhausted by that process.
You're like, I want to watch a TV show instead. Let me read a dictionary.
I would say this is an easy pull if you are a fan of Savage Dragon, but if you're not, I don't know what you would get out of it. It's not meant for people that aren't fans of it. So I don't, if you're into that, if you're into Savage Dragon, I'm sure this is great for you, like Tyler laid out. And in that case, yeah, absolutely cool.
I think Savage Dragon's back next or this month too. So,
Good timing. Ooh, might be the book to pick up. Is Spawn the Spawn event ending?
there was a Spawn event.
I think he means like on our show. Yeah. Spawn Mania.
This genuinely interested me to want to pick up like just old stuff and like, all right, I now that I have a lot of these things laid out, I'm like, where's the source? Like, where are people pulling this from in order to get this stuff? Because a lot of this was just irreverent fun, and if that's what that's what Savage Dragon is about, then dude, I might be on board.
It can be, honestly, Marco. I think it's down your alley.
Dude,
course
From what I
Absolutely.
know, I think it's down your alley, to be honest. I
every-
like tangentially knowing about all kinds of comic things. So like, I don't know if it's really my thing. I think there are parts of it that can be my thing. It's your thing though, Marco.
every time that Matt tweets something, I'm like, oh, 3 of those books that he just put up, I would read, and I'm like, we're same person, different vibe.
I don't want to insult you and say you have a similar taste, but
Come on, of course they do. Of course they do.
here's the
Same
difference.
hentai.
Yeah, here's the difference. Marco doesn't tweet about the hentai he reads.
I keep that tucked away.
Real quick, does anyone have a favorite story? Mine was Last Shot. That was the one that I liked. Which no surprise coming from
I'm
me
bad
with the
at-
Batman parody guy.
Oh yeah.
I already said what my favorite story is. I'll get the title of it. The Good Wife, Maxine Dragon, and The Good Wife was my favorite story because like I hate to say it, but like that's the Savage Dragon I've read because it's more recent stuff. I haven't read the the 30 years of continuity. Although I got the first collection in my cart. It's been there for a while, but I like how at least you can say Super Freaks #1 could have potentially made a fan out of Marco, and if it made a new Savage Dragon fan, I think it did a good job.
I guess it
They did a good
succeeded.
job.
Yeah.
For a fan done comic to make new fans for the thing that they love, that's pretty fucking cool.
I would
So
assume
hats
that's
off.
the MO. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I was
Go
just saying mine was also the one that Tyler shouted out, The Good Wife, but I also liked Tootsie. That was silly. Who in Zoots? That's all I heard in my head every time.
The Javelin Girl.
Yeah, I think mine might have been the Flash Gordon parody, Savage Dragon in Space.
Oh
Oh, that was a good one.
Um, but that one was probably because it was like the closest to anything I knew. So
Sultan, we are banned from reviewing Spawn, dude. Didn't you hear? We are not allowed to review Spawn anymore. That's no longer on the
Well,
docket.
I believe that is a cry for help for Sultan. It's saying, hey, if you don't review it, I don't have to read it anymore.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
the shame you'll have to start reading Savage Dragon.
Well, that's it for our reviews this week. We do still have, of course, Comics Tag and Pals Pulls. So for this week's Comics Tag, Marco tagged me to read Cave Carson Has a Cybernetic Eye. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Written by Gerard Way with John Rivera. Michael Avon Oming did the art. The colors were by Nick Filardi. So I avoided this book when it was first coming out because I knew I wouldn't like it. The name alone was enough. Like, oh, this guy's a cybernetic eye. I'm out. Name's way too long. I don't care.
Don't play as Kano in Mortal Kombat, huh?
I actually do, but only because his air spin is busted.
Fair.
I just was like, you know what? I see that this is not for me. Let me not do that to myself. Well, Marco did it to me.
You're welcome.
And no, I'm not welcome. I don't say thank you. I did not like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, I get why you would want Tyler to read it, which makes perfect sense why you chose him. The Avon Oming art was the only thing that I was interested in.
Wow.
Oming is very talented, and I enjoyed the United States of Murder that he did with Bendis. But this was just not. I didn't even really understand it. Like I didn't even care, quite frankly. But I see that it's offbeat in a way that I get why people would like it.
Kel, you've read this, right?
I have, and it's actually the Oming art that I don't like about it.
Wow.
No
Just
way.
not a fan of Oming. Yeah.
No.
Man.
I think there are people that do that style better.
Really?
Or in
I
a way
think
that
Oming
appeals
is
more to
like
me, I guess.
Oming, I think, does it specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's just his angle of it that I don't know. It just doesn't work for me.
Oming is like if Darwin Cook was at EDC,
I don't know what that means.
like just on Molly, you know.
EDC is a music festival.
Yeah.
Electric.
It's like a sort of festival, you know.
Thing.
I don't
It's
know.
here in the States,
So.
Cal.
Well, he wouldn't know.
Yeah, no, he hates America, apparently. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing else to say. Like, I get it, I think, but I didn't get it at the same time. So I would not. I cannot recommend this. But there's two other people on the book who are on the podcast who clearly do. So.
Oh, whoa! I wouldn't go so far.
Oh, I thought you liked it.
It was fine. It was the issue I had with Young Animal, being that like there are ones that hit and they hit well. Doom Patrol, Nick Darrington, Jarway, love that shit.
Yeah.
Real good.
Shade.
I think the Mother Panic stuff was good as well.
I did not like that one.
But then there was like Shade, which like Shade was like, I can see how it's specifically for a certain type of person, but it wasn't really for me. I know, yeah, I could see that, and I feel like Cave Carson was on that same kind of level.
No.
Or like they were like, he reminds me of those books you just pick up at the back of Hot Topic that were collected in 3-packs and then cellophane.
Yeah.
You know, it was like Johnny. It would be right next to like an issue of Johnny's the Homicidal Maniac and an Invader Zim shirt.
Invader Zim,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah. And which is I mean that endearingly, honestly. But like it just wasn't for me. I wish the line were still around though, because that means we could have gotten a new kind of Doom Patrol sort of thing.
Yeah. Damn. Okay. All right.
All right. Are you guys down for a multi-pals tag?
Ooh.
Okay, I don't know how that means we do the tag coming up, but sure.
I got you. All right.
Okay.
So my primary tag will be Kale. Because Kale is the one that I thought of for this.
Okay.
But I will also tag Tyler.
Me?
Yes. And the book is Batman the White Knight.
Oh.
The one that's always in Amaranth's Twitch chat.
What? I don't get it.
Oh, it's a different kind of white knighting. Never mind. Okay. It's
All right. So what I'm asking for is the first issue of the main story and the Mr. Freeze special. If you can only read one, I would say read the Mr. Freeze special.
Man, I wonder why I would want to read Sean Murphy Batman. It's not like I have a Sean Murphy Batman black and white statue that's at my desk all the time. I know he's a controversial character.
Whatever.
But
Sean Murphy?
if there's
Murphy,
if there's one person where I'm like, art's really good though.
Hey, sometimes it's just
It's hard. The problematic fave. There we go. Problematic fave, I think is the term people say.
I stand by these books. I think they're phenomenal.
I think they're good,
they
too.
get a bad rap. You've read them, Tyler?
Oh, I've read every single thing. I've read Harley. I think Harley's my favorite thing out of all of them. I loved Harley.
Oh, so you're off the tag. Marco,
Am I
you
off the
want in?
tag? Oh, I thought.
Yeah,
I mean, I
wait.
could talk about it still, but
Yeah, you could talk about it. Marco, all right. Marco, you're in.
Hell yeah, let's
dude,
go.
Tokyo Ghost, one of my favorite books of all time.
Yes,
dude, I haven't
yes.
read that yet.
Oh, dude.
Upcoming book club if I get to have my
Oh,
way,
dude.
which I did this month, thankfully.
Anti-capitalistic Rick Remender with Sean Gordon Murphy on art, and it's also a samurai story. Oh boy,
It's phenomenal. That's the tag. If you guys want to follow along, they'll be reading Batman the White Knight #1 / the Victor Freeze special. Victor Von Freeze, I believe
I
it's called.
don't know if I read the free special. If I'm
Hop in.
So hop
Yeah,
in, read
okay,
the free
all right,
special.
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah,
it was really, really fucking good. So
okay.
Cool. Cool.
But we have some new polls for next week. So
Yep.
I am pulling the return of That Texas Blood, number 14
That's what I
by
got.
Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. You haven't gotten the transfusion to get rid of that stuff yet?
No, why would I?
All right. Well, I thought you hated America.
Well, I don't hate Texas.
Okay, different country.
wow.
We all know they exist outside of that.
Oh,
No, That Texas Blood is so damn good. It's just Texas. It's not even noir. It's just like a crime story with a weird kind of supernatural overtone to it. It's not. It's like lowercase supernatural that kind of permeates the background. The previous arc dealt with kidnappings and a cult. It's good stuff. And I guess this
cult or a cult?
and a cult.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm excited for this book to come back. And then I also picked Poison Ivy #1. This is by G. Willow Wilson and art by Marcio Takara, I believe. Yes. Which
cover.
don't even tell me what the book is, and if I see Marcio Takaro and G. Willow Wilson, I'm like, I'm probably gonna pick up whatever that is. It's a pretty stacked team already. And there's a Dan Mora cover, so what can I say?
the tagline on that book is incredible.
The humanity had its chance thing, or the actual?
No, it's the a hero will risk you to save the world or something, but a villain will risk the world to save you.
Oh, okay, yeah, a lot of variant covers for this too, and it's cool seeing Poison Ivy, who's a character that's kind of been teetering between villain and hero for forever. Kind of get a starring role, and this is one of the ways DC is celebrating Pride, so they're leaning into her. I believe she's bisexual.
Something like that, yeah.
She is queer, so seeing that is it's fun.
I would love the ultimate end of the Batman story altogether, is just all of his rogues just kind of gradually turn good, some form of good.
Yeah, well, it's only because they've gotten popular because of the Batman rub.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Tyler,
that's
was this the Dan Mora cover?
yeah. The one I have in stream is Dan Moore cover,
Nice.
which
Tight.
favorite artist in comics currently Dan Mora, I think, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
All right, respect it.
Maybe could be, yeah. Marco, Aquaman Andromeda, #1 by Rom V and Christian
Oh, is that
Ward.
next week?
That's
next
next
week.
week, boy,
Oh,
dude.
I
This
gotta get
is
to a shop.
stacked, dude.
Next week
Christian
is a big
Ward,
week.
Rom V, and it's Aquaman. That's it. I'm in, and just the overtones of this. I like when there's this introduction of a bit more magic in Aquaman. I think it really fits. Whereas some of I think it was Dan Abbott did, a bit more like the political things. And
Oh, I love that
Jeff
run,
Johns. It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
I didn't remember how much of it I had read when I reread it maybe like a year back, but tight. And I think there are elements that play really well into the character. This is an oversized book as well. I now work next to a 3 blocks away from a Midtown Comics. I might actually pick this up physically just to get
I'm gonna make my way into town to go get it. Yeah.
It's funny. I will pick up Black Label oversized books, like Wonder Woman Historia. I had to buy that physically.
Yeah.
Like I think it's made for it, if that makes sense. And also the sizing gets weird on my iPad and it annoys me.
I mean, it literally is made for it. I think
Yeah.
those are undeniably intended to be read physically.
I might double dip on this one.
And you also had Twig #2. It looks like we're getting an antagonist in this story.
I had fun with it. I had fun with the first issue. We reviewed it maybe 2-3 weeks back, and Scotty Young, Kyle, I think was it Strawn?
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought it was cutesy. I thought the art worked. I thought the story was interesting enough for me to come back to the second issue. So I want to give it the shot. And yeah, I'm down for the world that we have seen so far, and I'm hoping that we get to explore more of it because I thought that some of the landscapes and what you could probably do with them were really cool and interesting.
And then we also had Sean and Kale, I believe. Dark Crisis, #1 of 7.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think despite what we said earlier, it is a crisis. It's a titled crisis, and that's got me. So I got to try it. It's a hesitant pull at this point. Everything we've seen hasn't lit me on fire at all. But I feel like Williamson is trying to tap into the Infinite Crisis buildup. And I feel him trying. So I've got, I don't know, mid hopes. I don't want to say high hopes, but mid hopes.
For a potentially mid book.
Yeah.
We didn't mention it on the discussion, but the fact that they mentioned Wally being upset that Barry was back. They mentioned that in the road too. I was like, oh shit, yeah, same. Because I'm a Wally guy. So
15 years, I think, since the last official Crisis book.
shit.
Wow.
Don't say that,
um,
Sean.
Because Final Crisis was 2008, right? So we're rounding that out. Can't say that the build feels even half as effective as what it was for Final Crisis. But I do really like Joshua Williamson and think that he is mega talented. And so, I'm excited to see what he can do. I don't think they would do this. They didn't let Heroes in Crisis be called Crisis. They didn't let Metal. I think Metal wanted to be, but they didn't let it or something of
Inverse.
that nature.
They wanted it to be.
They wanted it to be, right.
Snyder didn't want it.
This, and it's funny. I think that was supposed to be called Dark Crisis. But in any event, this is a real crisis, like Kale said. So can't wait to see what they do with it. I don't have high expectations, but I am excited, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
For sure.
I think the Free Comic Book Day issue got me more excited than the actual issue we read today.
I wasn't even able to get that.
Olivier Coipel drawing a Wally West Clayface story.
What the
hell?
Wow.
Yeah, it was good looking. Which is like, why didn't you make that the thing we read today? But whatever. It's fine. And then Kaylee also had Usagi Yojimbo Origins Volume 3.
Yeah.
Known as one of the greatest books of all time, right, Cal?
Yeah, absolutely, 1000%. I've talked about this book a lot because this particular volume has been coming out recently. IDW has been reprinting some of the old Usagi Yojimbo stories in color, and the Dragon Bellows conspiracy is the one that is a full narrative as opposed to different, stories. And it brings a bunch of different characters who Usagi meets along the way into this, samurai government conspiracy. It's very good. Highly recommended.
Cool.
Would you ever get a Usagi tattoo, Cal? I feel like that is a good character to get tattooed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
You're white enough too, so you don't even need to do the white ink.
Yeah. Yeah.
You convinced him.
I'm not a tattoo guy, but yeah. You know what? I probably would.
Imagine this cover as a back piece. I think it could work.
A whole back piece. Yeah.
Whole back
you know
piece.
what?
Yeah.
I'm in. Let's go.
That's where the patron money's
That's where-
going.
That's where, yep.
How many subs, Kale?
Two more.
All right. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Very good. Thank you all so much for watching. We really appreciate you. We will be back next week for another episode of Palace Pulls. If you want to catch it live, you can do so by tuning in at 6 p.m. Eastern every single Thursday. You can guarantee we'll be reading Dark Crisis and probably a few of those other books that were on Palace Pulls this week.
Savage Dragon.
Yes.
Aquaman.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's happening.
The Savage Dragon of DC.
Wow.
That strangely makes sense.
Patreon.com/thecomicspals if you want to support the show, support us as we continue on the road to 300 episodes. By the way, if you want to catch the main show live, that's 10:15 a.m. Eastern every single Saturday, so you can start your weekend with the Comics Pals. YouTube.com/thecomicspals. Subscribe, like the video, share with your friends. You guys know the deal by now. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we're the Comics Pals signing off. Take care, guys.
See you next week.